So I'll just go through who we are. Multiplan is a healthcare cost containment company. We do claim pricing. If you come like Amex and Visa and Mastercards, they are the network company on the financial side. Multiplan is equivalent to that on the healthcare industry. We price all the healthcare claim pricing goes through our Multiplan network. I think that's a quick introduction about Multiplan. And Matt explained what are the other different components on the DevOps and then how we learn from each one. I'll start with the coding first. Coding, we started doing agile development close 4 to 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And then at the time we started like a couple of teams, and then we did agile development using the Scrum. Then we slowly, we had a tremendous success, and then we saw business users were happy with the product we are delivering, and then they were able to see the product sooner, and they're able to give feedback. So we spinned off multiple teams. Now almost 8 to 10 teams are following the agile methodology, and then we are creating new teams like whenever there's a new project. Our quick overview of our agile process: we do a 2-week sprint, and then each release cycle will have a 5 sprints. So we push the code to UAT every 10 weeks. And then within the UAT environment, user acceptance environment, we do like a 2 weeks test. It's also known as a hardening sprint. We do a hard build, and then we create the hard versioning and other stuff. And then the one more point to note out is here, like we do a twice-a-day deployment to SQA. So when we started 4 years ago, we also brought in Oracle SOA Suite, Oracle Service Bus. Those components were kind of missing the build process. So we came up with our own plugin, Maven plugin, to do automated build and package and integration testing, and then deployment to SQA. That kind of summarizes our coding stuff, how we did the agile process. And the next one I'll talk about the integration, continuous integration. So that will start with the dev environment. And the dev environment, whenever there's a dev integration environment, basically the developers, whenever they write a code, they do local testing on their JUnit type of testing on their local environment. After they're done with the testing, they are going to check in the code. Once the code is checked in, our CA platform is going to automatically kick off the build package, and then kick off the integration, unit test, all the stuff. And then also it's tagged the source control branch, and then it also pushes through Artifactory, and then it deploys the binary into dev integration environment. After it's deployed, it's going to kick off some integration type of testing. Some of the integration type of testing will be from a SOAP UI. Also the SOA Suite have a test framework. We also use that to do a testing. That's like on the dev side, it's all fully automated. So I think we'll say we are like almost matured in that perspective. And then after that, like when it goes to SQA environment, that's like a twice-a-day deployment to SQA. There will be some of the SQAs doing manual testing. Along with that, there's automated SOAP based web service testing. Also, there are some Selenium-based portal testing, UI testing also there. And then, like after the 5 sprint is done, there is one sprint is dedicated for a hardening sprint. After the hard build is done, it also goes to SQA. And then that also, we do another regression type of testing in SQA. After that is done, the code is pushed to reg. So that's after 10 weeks, it's pushed to regression environment. Regression environment, there are some automated regression testing. One of the key challenges, like the test data warehouse, where you have to, for each test case, you have to set a initial test data set, and then after your test is run, it's going to have a targeted data set. So it's very hard to do a database snapshot versioning and then reset it after each test case is run. So we have a test data warehouse where you can define this is a data set for this test case, and this is an expected output, and then this is a test case. So that will be run through after for a couple of weeks. Like it will run through in the regression environment, and then all the existing test cases will be validated in the reg environment. And then after that, like along the reg and UAT will go in parallel. We deploy the code to UAT environment, and then there will be some manual user perspective, testing will be done. After that, it gets deployed to prod. Prod, we have some, as part of the deployment, there's a smoke test. It will test whether all the endpoints are valid and it's coming up. That's done through SOAP UI. Also, if there is a UI component, that will be tested through Selenium. Also, some of the teams will do a manual checkout to make sure the prod deployment is complete. So I took our all the kind of continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, and then compared that against the InfoQ model. We are like in the build and deploy, we are in the intermediate. So because the reason we said like an intermediate is some of the database level type of DML changes is still manual. Once we do that, it will go to we can go to advanced one. Also on the test and automation perspective, there are still some of the user acceptance testing are fully manual. So I would say we are at the intermediate state. Once we do more automation, we can go to advanced, at least advanced in that maturity model. On our code and agile development perspective, we are very mature. We've been doing that for 4 years, and then I would say that we are in advanced, between advanced to expert in the maturity model. I didn't have a slide on the provisioning and the instance spin-off. Right now we use VMware and MDM. It's kind of manual process. It takes 1 or 2 days to give us a new OSD instance or a source suite instance. Also, I think right now we are in the process of looking at Docker and Puppet-based solution so that it can be the instance can be spinned up within an hour instead of waiting for 1 or 2 days. So I didn't have a slide for that one because that's still work in progress. So I would say that's our journey in the DevOps solution landscape from multi-plan perspective. I'll hand over to
Safe
Sandra.
harbor.